Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. Alright folks, here we are just after market close on Monday, August 7th. We're going to take a look at Paysafe today. So Paysafe coming back through this area in the 11s, and I wanted to put in some support and resistance levels here, see if there's any trend lines, and then we'll flip over to Think or Swim and take a look at this channel setup and the TTM squeeze indicator there. So starting off here, one thing that looks like it might be sort of taking shape is a downtrend line here, and it could just be that it's sort of bull flagging, but sort of TBD. And if these bottoms hold, the extent to which, it follows this sort of situation, obviously it could break through either of those trend lines. But let me put this in here and switch the color just so it doesn't become confusing. And just sort of put a pin in that for now and sort of see. It's confirmed both top and bottom twice, so nothing like tremendous. You could also say potentially that there's like an uptrend line that could be taking shape that would have to catch it very quickly, right about here, right? And then that would force this wedge here and force it potentially in this area to make a decision. But, we can come back if that becomes a bit more clear. All right, so putting in some support and resistance levels. This topping out, and then, it's sort of wrestling with that level here, but really caught some support there, and did here as well. So that seems to have developed as a relatively strong level, 1135, where previously it wrestled through it, but it didn't bounce off of it. If you trace it back, comes back toward this 1129, and it was kind of building a floor in that same range. So that could be something interesting. Let's see if there's anything here to give us some potential levels above, since it's been through here before. 1228, so that's a bit far off. Let's see if there's anything, maybe right around this level here. About there, maybe 1189, there might be something. So we're not going to get a ton of help from those old levels in that area, but that's okay. We can see sort of what's taking shape closer in. I'll put in another level above here in case we get there, and then if we extend beyond it, we can certainly come take another look and add more levels in. 1261, and then let's put a couple in below 1135 in case it heads and retreats more toward that $11 level. This looks like a pretty decent level. Just like none of these are seeming super obvious and strong. It's a little bit herky-jerky, but 1040 there. Let me see if there's something in between. There's certainly a few levels here. Okay, something like 1069 or so. All right, so those are the levels as I see them at the moment. From the bottom up, 1040, 1069, 1098, 1135, 1189, 1228, 1261, and then, like I said, either potentially coming through on this pattern here with these trend lines, or I'm not going to leave it there, but just as a reminder, potentially something from like this trend line here, maybe forcing it into this area and making a decision one way or the other there. So we'll just have to sort of wait and see. Now if we flip over to Think or Swim and see how it's taking shape there, as we see in the channel here, it's sitting like just below, or just sort of like bumping its head on the mid-range of that channel, which is about 11, maybe 57 or so. And so, it's kind of waiting to make a decision. It hasn't had a lot of strong movement since back here. toward the end of June, where it stretched up and was pushing toward the top of the channel, but then retreated to the midline and is now just sort of trying to hold the midline. So obviously you see this bullish momentum upticking and then a nice symmetrical wind up and die off. And right now it's 3 days into triggering. It can trigger for a lengthy period of time, or it could start firing tomorrow. It's sort of a bit of an unknown. You just have to keep your eye on it. Now, when it does start firing, that's when it has the potential. It's not a magic bullet, of course, but it has the potential to make a big move. I'm trying to see the last time. So you see several days here of triggering, and then it fired. And what happened then? It went from here about mid-15s, and then all the way down to 934. So that was a big move to the downside after it triggered for several days. So I don't know if it's going to do that again. Sometimes it triggers and fires to the upside. Sometimes it triggers and fires to the downside. Sometimes it triggers and fires and doesn't really do anything. So it's just like such is the case with indicators, but it's an additional piece of information to maybe consider, as it's also sitting mid-range of the channel and is also sitting just about 51 on the RSI. So not leaning strongly one way or the other there. And did recently complete this nice momentum push and then die off. That was pretty smooth. So is it triggering for something? And maybe something is coming? I don't know. If it does, I'd be looking at this potential wedge formation or the other one that we had made note of, and then these levels that seem to sort of accumulate previous interesting price action. All right, folks, I hope your trading week got off to a good start today and that you have a strong week ahead. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.